Among the pleasures of summer nights in the parks of New York City is the annual festival Films on the Green, which highlights cinematic creativity from the French-speaking world. Free and open to the public, the festival is produced by the Cultural Services of the French Embassy, FACE Foundation, and the City of New York Parks and Recreation. This year's theme is the Mediterranean.
Washington Square Park, Central Park, and Tompkins Square Park and Riverside Park. I saw it was a French film, and I'm like, I better go. Because I'm a big fan of the French cinema, but I have never seen this film. So.
I read that it was an iconic performance by Jean Gabin, so that made me come. I saw like 2 weeks ago when they started the series in Central Park with Brigitte Bardot. Forgot the title.
I read there was a French movie, and I like movies, French movies, and I think my dad told me once about it because I think it's set in Algeria, and I'm from there. It's a weird relationship, you know, and we still learn the language at school. It's like a second language, you know, and even like when we speak Arabic, it's mixed with the French. Some people, you know, not forgot about it, but that's history.
On peut dire que Pépé tient le maquis. Et à vol d'oiseau, le quartier d'Alger qu'on appelle la Casbah, profond comme une forêt, grouillant comme une fourmilière, est un vaste escalier dont chaque terrasse est une marche et qui descend vers la mer. Entre ces marches, des ruelles tortueuses et sombres, des ruelles en forme de guet-apens, des ruelles qui se croisent, se chevauchent, s'enlacent, se désenlacent dans un fluide labyrinthe. Les unes étroites comme des couloirs, les autres voûtées comme des caves. De tous côtés, dans tous les sens, des escaliers, des montées abruptes comme des échelles, des descentes vers des gouffres sombres et clants. Des porches suintants, envahis de vermine et d'humidité. Des cafés obscurs, bondés à toute heure. Des rues désertes qui habitent le silence, des rues aux noms étranges.
J'ai mon plan. Si j'essayais de l'arrêter à la Casbah, il descendrait sans murmure. Je suis toléré à la Casbah. C'est déjà quelque chose.
Vous êtes trop paresseux pour l'inquiéter.
Je suis prudent.
Et à votre compte.
J'en ai qu'une.
Oui, eh bien, nous pourrons ce soir une descente de la Casbah et nous aurons votre ami Pépé mort.
The recently released film Eden from award-winning director Mia Hansen-Love tells the story of a French DJ during the rise in popularity of electronic music in the 90s. The script, co-written by the director with her brother, is based upon his 20 years of experience in that scene.
You have to know that in Paris, before that, everybody was listening to like just classic rock or pop, indie pop, and we discovered electronic music, and it was completely fresh.
Forget about New York. Paris is much more fun. Please stay.
Celebration.
I'll be a DJ.
One more time.
We'll be rich.
One more time.
Do you like it?
I mean, it's great to dance to, but I don't know that I would listen to it every day at home.
I became more passionate about the typical like garage, deep house music. The mix of, as I say at one point in the film, melancholia and euphoria, but I mean by that, there is music that is very happy in front, but there is something also kind of deep, it's eventually sad, but in front is very happy, very positive, and that relates to the time.
One more time.
Il faut absolument que tu arrêtes tes conneries et que tu te consacres à tes études maintenant.
Eh bien, ils ont 20 ans à peine, ils sont très talentueux. T'es folle, tu comprends rien, c'est de la disco moderne.
Oh yeah.
This music was breaking all the rules for the previous music, from the previous music. Like this music has no time, like a song could last like 10, 15 minutes sometimes. And the song could be an instrumental, a vocal.
They were really believing in something that no one was believing in, you know. I mean, nowadays, like if I talk also about my generation, nowadays you just tend to choose which electronic music you listen to. Je suis à bout. C'est énorme.
Enfin, tu te drogues pas au moins, c'est déjà ça.
Lorsqu'on pense l'underground en termes d'avant-garde, quand même, c'est aussi l'envie d'aller plus en profondeur dans les choses, et puis aussi d'aborder des sujets plus difficiles, des choses plus, peut-être éventuellement subversives. Encore une fois, ça renvoie à la contre-culture underground. Moi, avant même d'écouter de la house et du garage, j'avais un groupe que j'adorais, et que j'adore toujours, et que je pense est un des groupes les plus importants du rock. C'est le Velvet Underground. En plus, le nom est bien choisi. Et le Velvet Underground, c'est un des premiers groupes qui a justement joué sur cette idée d'amener l'avant-garde dans le rock, d'amener quelque chose d'un peu subversif, de différent, d'oser parler des choses vraiment frontalement, de la drogue, des bas-fonds. C'est quelque chose qui a toujours existé, mais là, ils l'ont amené de manière vraiment très nette dans la musique. Et voilà, et l'intérêt, c'est d'aller plus dans le cœur des choses.
Young people were really not worried about the future, and so they had this sort of hedonist life, very day to day, and that's something which is not possible today anymore. I believe my generation is a very anxious generation.
I'm Joy's boyfriend.
It's crazy that you haven't changed. It's bringing back all these memories.
Qu'est-ce qui vous plaît dans cette musique?
Le côté robot de la musique électronique, avec la chaleur qui apporte la soul.
Il est sublimé, c'est de l'art.
It has to end sometime.
This is only the beginning.
There's a world within me that I cannot explain.
Burned at the stake on May 30th, 1431, Joan of Arc continues to figure large in French history and inspire artistic representations across media. Among the best of those works is the dramatic oratorio Joan at the Stake, composed by the Swiss-French Arthur Honegger, with a libretto by poet Paul Claudel. Premiered in Switzerland in 1938 to high praise and performed around the world through the decades, the work closed the New York Philharmonic season in June 2015.
The way Claudel and Honegger are telling the story gives a lot of tools to understand Joan's story. They could have tell her story like she's a warrior and she will win against the evil. They could have raised military values, and they do exactly the opposite. You have Joan at the stake. She will be burned, and just before her death, she sees all her life going in front of her eyes.
He says in the trial that she saw at the church a big beam of light, and that beam of light suddenly spoke to her and said, "You must go and see the king and deliver France." And she said, "Well, I am not able to do that. This is not me who is going to do that." And the voices say to her, "Go, go, go, va, va, va," and we'll hear this a lot in the chorus, "Va, va, va, this is your mission." A little bit like Moses and the burning bush, if you remember. And so she talks to her uncle, who then talks to someone, and so on and so forth. And then, by ways of connections, she goes to Charles VII. And what happened, I remember, is that there are prophecies. People are talking about there will be a virgin. It was important that she be a virgin that might deliver France, or help the King Charles VII to deliver France. So she actually used, it was a very timely situation that made her able to do that.
When they had this idea of a trial run by animals, they are telling us something about who is their John. And their John is a child. And that's why for me, it's so important to have the children chorus on the stage, because the children chorus works as a mirror for her. It tells us that Claudel and Honegger wanted to say that first she was a child, and that's why she was a symbol of hope. And it's running in all pieces. There is a parallel between childhood, spring, and hope. And they want to say that she is an icon of spring, of childhood, of this possibility of a better future.
And you have to understand that a woman among soldiers was already extraordinary. And then she had to go from where she was to Orléans. They actually had to travel by night because roads were not safe. But she was traveling by night with other men. So hence the idea that she had to wear a man outfit in order to be one of them and be secure on many aspects.
That was one of the charges they brought against her, the fact that she was cross-dressing. And it's an amazing story. Even in prison, she was wearing women's clothes, but then someone apparently tried to violate her, so she went back to wearing men's clothes, apparently partly to protect herself, and they used that as evidence of her relapsing and going back into her heretical ways.
Joan was completely forgot between the 15th century and the 19th. And in the 19th, she became the real icon she is now, with the birth of the idea of nation. And she used to be an icon for the Republican, which in France means different from here. She used to be an icon for the feminist. She used to be an icon for the communist. She used to be an icon from the nationalist. Everybody who is telling the story of Jeanne is telling something about France. And that's why she's controversial, because everybody who wants to tell something personal about France will tell his own story of Jeanne. That's why she has many figures. This figure asks us a question, and this question is, explain me the sword. And he will ask it 3 times. And I think the question is, and I ask it for myself, okay, you're an icon, but explain me the use of violence. It's a symbol of hope, symbol of childhood, but this is a question. You use a sword, you as a warrior. And this is a question that we can ask for ourselves, I think. In this way, I think it's asking us a very important question.
Since 2009, ZakaFest has celebrated Haitian roots music in Miami. The festival was started by members of the Samba movement of the 1980s, which sought to honor Haitian culture in opposition to the U.S.-backed dictatorship in Haiti. In May 2015, the festival came to Tona Lounge in Brooklyn, where Canapé was invited to listen and learn about roots.
welcome, welcome, welcome to Saka Fest. Plenty of great music coming your way. We have some amazing dancers. You guys ready for some more vibes, some more drumming, and some Haitian spirits? Groupe Étoile is going to be coming on the stage. I want to thank Axel Tosca on the keys. And of course, my name is Natalie Guillaume, your host of the night. So get ready to make some room for the dancers to come. Because, you know, we gave a lot of the cotton, a lot of the sugar, and a lot of the things that we see today. That's why, still today, the peasants wear the jeans, the blue jeans, the indigo, because that's the proof that they were the ones dyeing that cotton. So that's why we stay close to that. And the people that you're going to see today on the stage were some of the pioneers of this movement in Haiti. Because in Haiti, back in the day, when you had dreadlocks or were dressed like that, they would put you in jail and say that you were radical. So now this is a new time where we can be a little bit more free. Hey,
They taught me how to sing Zao. I'm trying to imitate him. Like ça, c'est un panthéon, c'est un musée, c'est un gros bagage, c'est une université. C'est amazing, it's amazing. How you go?
You know, from Mobilino, he's sort of the sound guy tonight, too.
You're beautiful!
In Creole, I would say, chérie chouchou, pas qu'à vivre sans ou, chaque jour même chant. Est-ce que autant de ça m'a dit, mais respire, garde j'en aimé dans la vie, pas toujours gagner, garantie, il va nous amener, I be on a mission, making sure that there's a way to an end, but I'm just a musician, but I'm just my mission, yeah. I sing this song and find a way to make you stay. Shallow play, I don't know. But I need you, way I don't. Shallow play, I don't know. So they don't know. If I was a magician, I'd be on a mission, yeah. Making sure that there's a way of getting to them. But I'm just a musician. Rather sound for my ambition. I'd sing this song that find a way to make you stay. Thank you so much. Beautiful accent this time. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Thank you.
Samba ou bon ballet, dans la croix, samba relé, aux anges, aux anguinés, à quoi, à tout aussi, aussi à dogoissan, marassa douce, d'emblée, jam, tout vent, voodoo, qui marche à la da, à tout un chant,
Dale, Muñoz.